In the summer of 1587, more than 100 English men, women, and children crossed the wild Atlantic, determined to build a new life on the edge of an unknown world. They carved out homes on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what is now North Carolina. But only 3 years later, when help finally arrived from England, the settlement had vanished. No families, no bodies, not a single trace of struggle. Only one eerie word carved into a tree trunk: CROATOAN. For over 4 centuries, historians, archaeologists, even cryptographers have asked the same haunting question: where did the 115 settlers go? Tonight, we'll travel back to the age of wooden ships and uncharted coastlines to uncover the clues, the legends, and the theories behind America's oldest unsolved mystery. England in the 1580s was bursting with ambition. Queen Elizabeth I wanted England to challenge Spain's powerful empire and claim a foothold in the New World. She granted a charter to explorer Sir Walter Raleigh to establish an English colony on the coast of North America. The first expedition, sent in 1585, built a small fort on Roanoke Island, but without enough supplies and facing tense relations with local Algonquian tribes, the settlers abandoned the outpost and returned home. 2 years later, in 1587, a second, far more determined group sailed west under the leadership of John White, an artist, mapmaker, and now the governor of the new colony. This group was different. 115 settlers, including 17 women and 11 children. Among them was White's own daughter, Eleanor Dare, who would soon give birth to Virginia Dare, the first English child born in North America. The settlers rebuilt on the ruins of the earlier fort, planting crops and constructing simple wooden homes. But Roanoke was isolated. Their supplies dwindled fast, and relations with nearby tribes were fragile at best. Governor White made a difficult decision. He would return to England to gather more provisions, promising to come back swiftly. White's quick return never happened. In 1588, England went to war with Spain. The mighty Spanish Armada threatened the homeland, and nearly every seaworthy ship, including the ones White had hoped to use, was commandeered for defense. For 3 long years, the Roanoke settlers waited on a distant, resource-strapped island, while White remained trapped across the ocean, powerless to reach his family. At last, in August 1590, White secured passage back across the Atlantic. He imagined joyful reunions with his daughter and granddaughter. Instead, what he found was a silent wilderness. The colony was gone. Houses had been dismantled rather than destroyed, as if the settlers had packed up in an orderly way. There were no graves, no human remains, no signs of violence. On one tree, White discovered the carved letters CRO. On another post, the full word CROATOAN. This single clue pointed to CROATOAN Island, today's Hatteras Island, home to a friendly Algonquian tribe who had once traded with the settlers. White wanted to search immediately, but a fierce storm threatened his ships. The crew refused to linger. Forced to leave, White sailed back to England, heartbroken. Never to see his family again. That was the last confirmed sighting of the Roanoke colonists. For centuries, scholars and storytellers have debated what really happened. Here are the leading theories. Some historians believe tensions turned violent, that neighboring tribes attacked the colony and wiped it out. Yet no battlefield evidence, no skeletons or weapons, has ever been found at the site. Because of the carved word CROATOAN, many argue the settlers relocated voluntarily, merging with the friendly CROATOAN tribe. Generations later, European explorers reported indigenous families with unusually gray or blue eyes and English-style surnames. While intriguing, DNA evidence so far remains inconclusive. Archaeological data suggests the late 1580s brought severe drought to the Carolina coast. A shortage of fresh water and crops could have forced desperate survivors to abandon Roanoke or claimed their lives before they could leave. Another possibility is that the settlers built small boats to try sailing north toward the Chesapeake Bay, or even back to England, but were lost to storms or piracy. Local folklore speaks of malevolent spirits in the swamps, or an ancient curse on the island. While these legends fuel ghost story tourism, no tangible proof exists. Yet they add to the enduring mystique of Roanoke. Recent digs on Hatteras Island and the mainland have uncovered fragments of 16th century European pottery, gunflints, and tools. These artifacts suggest that at least some colonists survived and integrated with indigenous communities. Still, the evidence is scattered and cannot fully explain the fate of all 115 settlers. Each theory offers pieces of the puzzle, but none completes the picture. Roanoke remains a historical riddle, one of the few colonial mysteries never solved. Today, Roanoke's legend lives on, In North Carolina, an outdoor theatrical drama called The Lost Colony has been performed almost every summer since 1937, retelling the story beneath the stars. Historians continue the search, using ground-penetrating radar, LiDAR mapping, and DNA studies, in hopes of answering a 435-year-old question. For many Americans, the Lost Colony is more than a mystery. It's a cautionary tale about how fragile early colonial life was on this continent, and that is the story of the Lost Colony of Roanoke, a settlement that dared to begin the English presence in the New World, only to vanish without a trace. Was it survival through alliance, tragedy by sea, devastation by famine, or something we have yet to imagine? What do you think became of the 115 missing settlers? Share your theory down in the comments. Let's see which explanation convinces you the most. If this deep dive into one of America's greatest historical enigmas intrigued you, hit the like button, subscribe for more true history mysteries, and tap the bell icon so you never miss the next investigation. Because the past still holds secrets, and we're just getting started uncovering them.